Okay, thank you. It's 6 p.m., so I'd like to call the Neighborhood Commission meeting to order. This is our Monday, September 23rd, 2024 meeting. I'd like to start by our roll call. Dylan, can you call the roll, please?
Yes. Bernal. Ching. Clark. Here. Vogue. Here. Valentres.
Present.
Oshiro.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Samamoto.
Here.
Correct.
Here.
All right, we have 7. We have the forum chair.
Thank you. Before I call for public concerns, I'd like to go over the rules of speaking. Anyone wishing to speak is asked to raise his or her hand and when recognized by the chair to address comments to the chair. Speakers are to keep their comments under 2 minutes. Public testimony will be taken on each agenda item. So at this time, please silence all of your electronic devices. And additionally, Dylan, will you please let me know if there are any raised hands in the audience in the office there? Because I can't really tell if there's anyone there. I can just see the screen and those that are on the screen. Okay, we're going to move on to public concerns. Are there any public concerns this evening? Okay, I don't see any hands. Are there any hands in the audience?
Chair Kevin Lai online just raised his hand.
Okay, the chair recognizes Mr. Lai.
Thank you, Chair, for the chance to speak. I did not see on the agenda a report to be made by the Neighborhood Commission office per se, so I just wanted to re-raise the issue that was mentioned last month, was if there was indeed a cost differential on printing the mailouts in color, or if any significant savings could be achieved by returning to black and white printouts. Thank you.
Okay, any comments? Lloyd, any response?
Kevin, if you could explain cost differential, do you mean, is it more expensive to print and is it more expensive to mail in color or print in color?
I'm reflecting on the printing costs. You know, back when I was growing up, color laser printer copies were like 16 cents each, but a regular black and white was 2 cents each. So I just wanted to make sure that cost differential had minimized in today's technology, or if it was more expensive, why we were printing and mailing out the meeting written records in color. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the cost differential is not great at all. I think it's minimal today, and our contract with our because we do the mail outs from our office and we print from our printer, and it's an all-inclusive deal. I'm not quite sure about the color. I will double check, but I don't think it is significant if there's a difference.
Just to add on to that, and it's something that we could maybe improve on, but just logistically speaking, we have 33 different neighborhood boards staffed by 7 or 8 different people, and all of those agendas and minutes are coming from different chairs of every single board. So while we do our best to try and standardize things, there may be things that fall through the cracks where someone prints and a hyperlink comes out in color when maybe it should have been printed in black and white. But as I said, this is just something that can always be tightened ship on, but with 33 different agendas coming from 33 different chairs, sometimes things just fall through the cracks.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other public concerns? Seeing none, we'd like to move on to our committee reports. The first committee is Elections Committee. Claire, any report tonight?
Chair, you just skipped over the approval minutes.
Oh, sorry. Before we move to committee reports, then we'll move back a notch, and I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes.
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? Uh, The minutes are approved as published. Thank you very much. Back to committee reports. Claire, any report from the Elections Committee?
Yeah, we'd like to at least give, put for the record, election for 2025 timetable for the neighborhood boards. At the end of this year, December 20th, elections process begins and we'll have the candidate registration form required to be released. It's our kind of a timeline for us. And then in 2025, on February 21st, we'll have voter and candidate registration deadlines. February 28th will be the deadline for voter and candidate forms postmarked no later than 2/21 and to be received by 2/17/2024. And then we won't really have elections. Voting begins on April 25th on 2025. And voting will end on May 16th. And the deadline for ballots postmarked will be May 23rd, postmarked no later than May 16th. So those are just some brief deadlines for the upcoming election next year.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Claire? If not, we'll move on to the Survey Committee. Stephen, you have a report?
Yes, thank you. We're scheduled for next Monday, the 30th, for the survey committee meeting. We have been getting quite a few responses back from the neighborhood board members for questions and comments concerning the survey. And we'll be summarizing those next next Monday, the 30th.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Stephen? Seeing none, we'll move on to,
I think we have Greg.
Yeah, Greg Masakian.
his hand is up.
Yes, virtually.
Okay, Mr. Mistaken, you have the floor.
Aloha, Chair and members of the Commission. Just a quick comment, and I appreciate what Commissioner Melendez is doing with the Survey Committee. I did notice the email that was sent went to my spam folder, and it's funny. So the only reason I'm telling you that is because I don't have a lot that goes to my spam folder, but when I see something that goes there, like I get something from Senator Murawaki, her newsletter, it always goes to the spam folder. So I spoke to someone else, I forget, it was another board member, and I think they saw theirs in their spam folder also. So just an FYI that, maybe it's limited to just a few, or it could be more prevalent. So I don't know why it happens. Again, it's happening with one of our legislators' newsletters on a regular basis. So that was my only comment.
Okay, thank you for the
Thank you.
heads up.
Thank you.
Any
I
other
did
questions
reply.
for the Survey Committee Chair? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the Neighborhood Plan Committee. Patrick?
Yeah, I just have a couple of items. First off, I'd like to report that I did meet with Tom Heinrich, who was a former executive secretary for the commission, has been coming to all the most of the neighborhood plan committees, and we discussed some aspects of how the plan should be set up. There's still a little lack of clarity, but we're working on resolving those, and there'll be more details presented at the next neighborhood plan committee meeting. The second item is the presentation meant to go to all the neighborhood boards, letting them know that we're actually in this process. If we could review that pretty quickly, maybe then we could request that the neighborhood commission make this available or present this at all the meetings. So if you wait just 1 second, you'll see it. It's basically what we talked about before, but I edited it based on, well, it was a little rough before, and added a couple of things. So if there are any comments, we can talk about at the end. I think there are only like 8 slides, so we could probably go through it pretty quickly. Yeah, so we just announced it Okay, okay, everybody can see this online, I hope. So it's just it's a
We're good.
explanation of what we're doing, and you can go on. We've talked about this before. Next slide, please. Okay. Well, we have a little extra time to look at it.
There's three.
Okay, so, and it's basically, I think this is a rehash of what we had before, and it's just the separating out the other provisions versus the geographical issues. So go on to the next one. So I did pull out the geographical boundary since it is such an important issue. I just showed an example. Go on to the next slide. And then just said, hey, this is why you may want to change. Just a couple examples. And I said, if a board wishes to change its boundaries, and I think the committee had talked about this, is those boards should express such interest by collective action of the board by passing a resolution. Rather than just one or two board members saying, hey, we need to make a major change. This requires an action by the board. And that may not be the end of it, but at least to get it going from the committee perspective, this is what we require. Next slide, please. And then, this is basically what I had before, and it's just what we've started. Today we've adopted the reorganization. It's just a little explanation where we are. Next one. Same, we reviewed this last meeting. And then basically this just says where you can find more information. And that's it. The NCO website, the YouTube channel, and then the site we set up with some of the information. That was included, I think, last time. And then this just says, if you want to sign up to receive mailing, that makes it very simple for a viewer to look at and see. Because basically they can always get information from the NCO. And then this just says, please provide your input. And the testimony forms can be found by the NCO or whatever. So we can go on. One last thing, and this is just a general information of who's doing this, and that's it. So that's the whole slide presentation. It shouldn't take a long time for, I guess, an NA to give it, but it just provides all the boards information about what we're doing and how they can receive more information. And that's it. That's my report. If anyone has any comments about the presentation itself or the committee's chair.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. I think that was a very good report. I know we reviewed it the last time, and I think you did make a few fixes to it, and I think it looks good. So, aside from that, does anybody have any questions for the chair?
I have a question.
Stephen? Commissioner Melendres?
Thank you. Quick one. I would suggest before we make changes to the existing plan, I like what Patrick did last time, just read through it. I would suggest we have a vote before we change. We make changes of deletions to the plan and we accept comments. Do a regular vote.
You mean the presentation is what you're saying?
No, not the presentation, the plan itself. Presentation looks fine.
Oh, well, we're still, I think the last time there was some issues about administrative law and the application of such. So I don't know if we're really ready to come back to the full commission with any particular changes at this point.
No, I'm sorry. I'll just no. Your presentation is fine. I'll reserve my comments for the next planning meeting. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm not following you, but I'm sorry. Yes, that
okay.
would be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to thank all of the chairs of the committees and those that serve on each of the committees for your very hard work. These matters can get complicated real quickly, but it looks like everybody's really working very hard on each of these committees. And with Claire's report tonight, just goes to show how quickly time flies. We're, coming up on another election in 2025. But anyway, thank you very much to all of you that have been working on these committees.
Chair,
Okay, I'd like to move on.
Great.
Chair,
I'm sorry, who's
Kevin Lai.
who has? You had a question or comment on the neighborhood plan?
Yeah, Kevin
Thank you,
Lai.
Chair.
Oh, go ahead. Tell us what you have, what you wanted to say.
Thank you, Chair. I'll speak. If I could just ask of Commissioner Smith if the plan for the next neighborhood plan meeting is to finish the portions of the draft neighborhood plan that we did not yet get to on the previous meeting, or if there will be any other additional sections assigned for review. Thank you.
No, I think it's most unlikely. We did not finish. We weren't really making good progress either. And I think behind the scenes, there was some clarification, like I said, of administrative law issues that will really require us to do a quick kind of rehash of some of the items. I think like 3 of the items, the provisions that we actually reviewed. So yes, there will not be any more. It'll be based on the last committee meeting, but hopefully the last committee agenda, but all those provisions will be listed on the agenda for the next meeting, but it won't include any new ones at this point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any hands? So we'll move on to the next agenda item, which are announcements. Our next neighborhood plan committee meeting that has been announced is on Monday, October 21st. It's the third Monday. And following that meeting on October 28th will be the next commission's meeting. Are there any other announcements that I don't have in front of me? If not, I'd like to remind the commissioners that after we adjourn this portion of the meeting, we're going to convene the portion of the meeting to address adjudicatory matters. So I'll adjourn the sunshine portion of the meeting at this time. Thank you.